Honorable members, shall we pray? Almighty God, we humbly beseech Thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in Thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and that good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. Honorable members, item 3. Item 3. Honorable members, will you take your seats? Will you take your seats? This House is the focus of the world today. I expect to see that you recognize that. Item 4, correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. We'll start with the correction of the votes and proceedings of Wednesday, 6th December 2023. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Yes, Honorable Member, page 8.
Honorable Speaker, with respect on page 8, item 31, Please, I apply for leave of absence from 4th December to 6th December. And I've realized that on the 4th, I was marked absent. On the 5th, I was marked absent with permission. And yesterday, I was marked absent. And I suspect this is a genuine mistake. And I'll be happy if the table office could make the needed correction. So on the 4th, I was marked absent. On the 5th, absent with permission. And yesterday, absent. But the leave of absence span between 4th and 6th December. That was yesterday. Thank you.
Table office kindly cross-check on our records and do the right thing. Yes, Honourable Member.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, item number 16 on page 8. I have been marked absent as not being in the house yesterday. Mr. Speaker, I was in the house. I may not have spent too much time in the chamber, but I was here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Table office, kindly take note. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Yes.
Grateful, Mr. Speaker. On page 13, item 4, generally understatements. I believe the statement I made yesterday ought to be indicated as a statement. But it says I drew attention to the plight of the road toll workers with disabilities and call on government to address their concern, especially in the area of unpaid salaries. Mr. Speaker, I made a statement. Page 13. Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
Page 13.
Page 13. 4, IV.
You are talking about page 13, item. Oh, the item is on page 12. The item is item 9, page 12, Roman 4, which is at page 13.
You are correct, sir.
Yes.
Most grateful. So I wish the hazard department would capture it appropriately. What is indicated here is not correct.
What do you want to be added?
That I made a statement. It should be Dr. Clement Abbas Apak made a statement. Passionate statement. Somber but passionate statement. Then the rest can continue. I'm grateful.
No, Majority Chief with.
Speaker, my friend Dr. Park, I'm struggling to appreciate the point he wants to emphasize, but it is actually captured under statement. Even if you look at page 12, item 9, and that is supposed to be IV item under statement. So I think the table office is spot on.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, look at the other statements. You see, it all will definitely say made a statement. This is not captured in his. So he wants it to read, the Honorable Member for Bursa South, Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, made a statement to draw the attention of the House. That is a proper thing, and I think table office, you should capture that. Page 14. Yes, please.
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, at page 14, there are two names that have been captured wrongly. The first one under number 11.
Honorable members, if you are not interested in what is happening, I am. Because I have to hear what they say and be able to guide the member. Yes, Honorable Blackwell.
So, Mr. Speaker, respectfully, I was referring to item number 11 IV under petition. Mr. Nathaniel Mensah. Nathaniel has been spelled wrongly. And then, Mr. Speaker, still under petition number 11.
Honorable Member, you haven't concluded. It has been spelled wrongly.
Yes, Nathaniel.
What is the right spelling?
Nathaniel, the I is missing. Nathaniel. They omitted the I for Nathaniel.
Yes, go on.
And then, Mr. Speaker, the last batch of names on that page, the ad hoc committee that you set up, the technical persons, VI, Dr. Theophilus Achampong. Theophilus has been spelled without an O. It should be THEOPHILUS. There is no O in the rendition here. Dr. Theophilus Achampong, the technical person for the ad hoc committee to look into the payment to Gold Coast Fund Management subscribers.
Yes, Honorable Mahama Yarga.
Yeah, Dr. Theophilus.
Honorable Mahama Yarga, you
Mahama Yarga
presented the petition. The names. Roman 4. The spelling is what he has raised an issue about. Is that the case?
The Theophilus in this case does not have an O. The Theophilus is
No.
T.
No, we are talking about the first. The first. Roman 4. Nathaniel Mensah. The spelling.
Yes, Nathaniel Mensah is Nathanel. Nathaniel Mensah is what is written in the petition. Yes, that is
what is submitted.
That is what is submitted
in the document.
That is what the petitioner submitted as his name.
Thank you so much. For the other one, Theophilus, you are right. Is THEO has come in. Table office, kindly take note. Page 15. Yes, please.
Well, Mr. Speaker, please, I would need your guidance on the adjournment, item number 13. Here it says that the House was adjourned till Thursday next at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. However, the real situation, Mr. Speaker, is that we were told that we will sit at 1 p.m. today, even though we didn't really get to sit at 1. But are we sure that this is what? Because I was here. The House was just adjourned
no time was given. I was here. And so if we agreed that we will sit at 1 p.m. today, should that not be what should be captured per our records instead of the 10 o'clock in the forenoon, which I know appears to be the template, but yesterday was a peculiar day. So just your guidance, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, I appreciate how meticulous the Honorable Ablakwa gets, but on this occasion, it was 10 o'clock, and the 1 o'clock was subsequently decided on, not in the chamber, but related to Speaker, and agreed on the 1 o'clock, which was done outside the chamber. So the adjournment was done. What is captured there is right.
May I hear from the Speaker, who I believe was on the chair and adjourned the House?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in fact, the House was adjourned to 10 o'clock in the morning, as is recorded in the vote on proceedings. The change was done today, Mr. Speaker, at the morning service.
So, honorable members, what is captured in the order paper is the right thing. Honorable members, in the absence of any further corrections, the votes and proceedings of the 25th sitting dated Wednesday, 6th December 2023 are adopted as the true record of proceedings. We now move to item 5, urgent questions. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, with respect, I've related to my colleague, Chief Whip, and will seek your leave to vary order of business and take item 7 instead. And we have a statement that stands in the name of the Minister for Local Government. Speaker, we are related to you duly.
Honorable members, item 7, statements. Minister for Local Government.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, on the 19th of December 2023, Ghanaians will go to the polls to elect their representatives to the district assemblies and unit committees. We will elect about 6,300 assembly members and about 31,000 unit committee members. Mr. Speaker, the local government system is the foundation for building and sustaining effective and accountable democracy. Local areas are places where residents interact with one another, collectively identify their problems, and through their leadership and organizations such as the district assemblies, mobilize resources from the state and non-state institutions to solve their common problems, and democratically hold those leaders accountable for the outcome of the development process. Mr. Speaker, that is the essence of Article 242 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, which enjoins all of us to ensure that people, in particular local government areas, are given the opportunity to participate effectively in their governance system. Also, under the implementation of the directive principles of state policy and towards achieving the political objectives of the state, Article 35(6)(d) enjoins us to make democracy a reality by decentralizing the administrative and financial machinery of government to the regions and districts, and by affording all possible opportunities to the people to participate in decision-making at every level in national life and in government. Mr. Speaker, the conduct of elections is precisely to fulfill some of these important constitutional requirements of our democracy and to ensure that people are given the opportunity to elect their representatives to the district assemblies, which in our case are also the highest political authorities and the pillars around which local decision-making and development evolve. The right of the people to participate in the decision-making process at every level of their governance and development solidifies democracy. And that is why participation in district-level elections is important and key to the sustainability of our democracy. Right Honorable Speaker, Section 6 of the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936, stipulates that elections to the district assemblies shall be held once in every 4 years and at least 6 months apart of the parliamentary elections. Mr. Speaker, records from the Electoral Commission clearly demonstrate that the voter turnout during district level elections leave much to be desired. In 1998, when Ghana started the district level elections, the voter turnout was 59.3%, which was fairly impressive. Since then, voter participation has reduced substantially. In 1994, voter turnout was 29.3%, 1998, 41.6%, 2002, 33.1%, 2006, 39.3%, 2010, 35.3%, 2015, 35.9%, and in the last district level elections held in 2020, the voter turnout was 33.6%. The aforementioned statistics shows that since we started the Fourth Republic and for the conduct of 7 district level elections, voter turnouts have averaged less than 40%. Compared to presidential and parliamentary elections, where voter participation rate had averaged over 70%, the abysmal voter turnout in local government elections does not speak well of our democracy, especially when Ghana has been a pace setter in decentralization and local governance in Africa. Many countries have come to learn from our decentralization and local governance system. Whilst it is empirically true that in many parts of the world, voter turnout at local government elections tend to be lower than national elections, the gap in the voter turnouts between our national and local government elections is a grave concern that all my honourable colleague members of parliament must help to address. Right Honourable Speaker, inadequate citizens' participation as a whole in the district assemblies elections and the abysmal representation of women in local assemblies, alongside the critical importance of the work of these assemblies, are the reasons why I'm here today to crave your indulgence to local government and to inform the public and the electorate to participate in this year's district level elections, to increase voter turnout, and more broadly, to deepen our democracy. I entreat my honourable members of parliament in this august house to whip up enthusiasm of the electorate to turn out on Tuesday, 19 December 2023, and vote massively for the representatives to their respective district assemblies and unit committee. Right Honourable Speaker, decentralization has brought government closer to the people than it had ever been in almost 3 decades. Although there is no government policy to systematically create smaller local government jurisdictions, with the creation of 261 district assemblies from 110 in 1988, the average population per a local government jurisdiction has reduced substantially, thereby enabling local government to reach a smaller population. This has also reduced the proximity of local governments to locations where problems occur and where appropriate solutions may be found. It is on the basis that these assemblies have been assigned the responsibilities of providing solutions to the challenges of local governance and development, including provision of services such as sanitation, solid waste collection, basic education, healthcare, infrastructure, social welfare, and community development, among others. Right Honourable Speaker, one other fundamental factor that will enable local residents to participate in the decision-making about local areas is information dissemination. Section 47(1) of the Local Governance Act 2016 Act 96 provides that every citizen resident in a district assembly shall have access to information held by the district assembly or a department of the assembly subject to limitation imposed by law. Again, Section 42(b) and (d) of Act 96 state that a district assembly shall facilitate the establishment of a structure for stakeholder participation that may include town hall meetings and notice boards for the dissemination of important announcements of public interest, among others. Right Honourable Speaker, the critical role of the media in creating awareness of this level elections cannot be overemphasized. Accurate and timely reportage by the media on key issues which will shape local governance should equip up and sustain the level of public interest in the processes leading up to the conduct of the this level elections. It is therefore envisaged that the time and energy devoted for presidential and parliamentary elections by our friends in the media fraternity is replicated in the upcoming district level elections. It is even my ardent hope that more platforms are created by relevant bodies with deep involvement of the media to intensify the awareness and advocacy for higher voter turnouts, but being minded by the powers conferred on the Electoral Commission and restrictions imposed by law, including the district level elections regulations 2015 CI 89. Right Honourable Speaker, I further wish to draw honourable members' attention to Section 12(1) of the Local Governments Act 2016, Act 96, which says that a district assembly shall A. exercise political and administrative authority in their district, promote local economic development, and provide guidance, give direction to, and supervise other administrative authorities in the districts as may be prescribed by law. Right Honourable Speaker, I wish to state that the government is augmenting the capacity of the Institute of Local Government Studies with the state-of-the-art academic and training infrastructure, structured training for the professional staff and members of the district assemblies. Beyond the nationwide orientation program for honourable assembly members, the Institute has built the capacity of honourable presiding members who double as chairpersons of Public Relations and Complaints Committee. The Honourable Metropolitan, Municipal and District Chief Executives have also benefited from series of structured training at the Institute. Right Honourable Speaker, based on the foregoing and coupled with efforts being made to strengthen our local government system, let me restate that the government remains committed to deepening decentralization. Whether or not the district level elections will be successful with a better turnout is dependent on intensified awareness creation and the efforts of prospective aspirants to offer themselves for the election, particularly women. And Right Honourable Speaker, I also remind members, honourable members, that by law we are all members of the district assemblies, and we should devote time, energy to whip up enthusiasm, so that this year, on Tuesday, 19th of December 2023, we are not going to have turnouts below 40%, but we'll be aiming at catching up with the turnout for the presidential and parliamentary elections, which is averaging 70%. Thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that all of us will get up get involved in whipping up enthusiasm and interest in the forthcoming elections. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Before I permit comments to be made on the statement that has just been delivered by the Minister for Local Government, it's important I acknowledge the presence of some visitors in the public gallery. They are mostly students from a number of institutions. We have junior high school students from Kotobabi 5JHS. They are being led by the assistant headmaster in the person of Samuel Okwabi. The school is located at the Ayawaso Central constituency, and we have as many as 81 of the students here present. On your behalf, I acknowledge them and I warmly welcome them to today's sitting. Please, you are welcome. You may resume your seats. We have Teshi Lekma 5 Junior High School students led by the headmaster himself in the person of Mr. Samuel Bempong. This school is located in the Lejo Kuku constituency, and there are 55 in number. You are also warmly welcome to Parliament. We have students from Joy Preparatory and Computer. Please, they are led by the facilitator, Mr. Richard Jemfi. The school is located at the Medina constituency, and they are 95 in number. That is the figure I've been given, 95 in number. Joy Preparatory and Computer, but I don't see 95. You are warmly welcome to today's sitting. Please resume your seats. And finally, we have students from Grace Baptist Academy, led by the headmaster of the academy, Mr. Bernard Agovi. They are 98 in number, and the school is located in the Medina constituency. Luckily, we have all the members of parliament from these constituencies present. So watch the conduct and behavior of your MP and advise yourselves as to whether they are worthy of representing you here in the next election. Honorable members, you may now make comments on the statement just delivered by the Minister for Local Government. I will want to start with the ranking member. Yes, Honorable Edwin Lante Vanderpoel.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the Honorable Minister for Decentralization and Rural Development. And I want to commend the Minister for his proactiveness to this statement in inviting us to our civic responsibilities towards the district assembly elections. Mr. Speaker, it is true.
Speak into the mic.
it is true that citizens' participation in the district level elections has been very poor. Going through history, hovers between the 35-38% as compared to the 70-75% witnessed under presidential and parliamentary elections. But this is because the state does not give that much attention to the district level elections. The sort of importance we attach to the presidential and parliamentary elections is far, far low when we consider the district level elections. We must consider the fact that in the parliamentary and presidential elections, the political parties play a key role as demanded of them by the Constitution. But because these have become individual activity, it becomes difficult for institutions, groups to really get up to get themselves involved. However, institutions that could play a very vital role in disseminating information, educating and informing the public on the district level elections. Our NCCE is mandated to educate, inform, encourage people to participate in such civic responsibilities. But we all know the situation of the NCCE. Today, the role of the Information Services Department, which historically has had mandate to educate and inform people, announce such situation, is virtually off. We can't even find them anymore. I don't even know whether they are still alive. And so these two institutions, which normally will help us boost the interest in the district level elections, are not there. And I said it becomes very difficult for the individuals to whip up enthusiasm for people and galvanize people to participate in the district level elections. Maybe the minister will want to consult with his colleague, the Minister for Information, to see what we can do within this short time to make sure that the Information Services Department and the various district information officers are supported so that they can activate their activities within the districts to make sure that we encourage people to get involved in the district level elections. Mr. Speaker, it's also important at this time for us to see what will make the assemblies themselves more attractive and more aligned to their responsibilities in the various communities and districts and their jurisdictions, that will make people have interest in the work of the assemblyman. Because it is not just even voting for the assembly members, the unit committee members. After that, the soft structures that will all galvanize interest are all suffering. The assemblies themselves are suffering. And so the assembly members are suffering. So it is important that we channel a bit more energy, resources, provide them with the logistics they need to be able to perform their duties as expected of them, and to build confidence in the assembly system that will make the Ghanaians feel happy to want to leave all other things, go and queue in the sun and vote for the assembly members. It is very important. Our democracy and our governance system is structured under the local governance system. And if there's no much interest there, what it means is that we will only be looking at our governance system at the central level, which fundamentally is wrong based on the system of governance we have adopted for ourselves. Mr. Speaker, I have a little bit problem with the date, because as members of parliament, the Honourable Minister is urging us to move in and fully participate in the elections. But that day is a sitting. On the 19th, we'll be sitting here in Parliament. I don't know what Mr. Speaker will do, together with leadership, to see how we members of this Parliament will be able to get to our constituencies, urge people to get out, and with them vote to make the dream of the minister come true by breaking the 40% mark of vote. I will also say that the assemblies, as today or from today, if through the district assemblies common fund can get the assemblies to whip up a little bit of enthusiasm and interest within their jurisdiction, and to get them to get even the town criers and various medium of communication within the districts. Almost all districts now have their own local communication network, so that they can pace a little, so that people will run commentary and adverts on the day, so that we can have more people coming out to vote that day. Mr. Speaker, with this, I will urge members of Parliament to show interest from today, as has been urged by the Minister, so that we try as much as possible to rekindle the spirit of our district level elections, so that we can have better people at the grounds to support us at this level. With this words, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to have contributed to the statement.
Yes, Honourable Member.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, let me first thank the Minister for this important statement. Mr. Speaker, since the inception of the District Assembly concept in 1988, as a nation, we have done very well, and we need to continue doing what is right. Mr. Speaker, decentralization and local participation is very key to bring development to the local levels, and that is the most important role of the district assemblies, that development should be at the doorsteps of the local people. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the duties or the role of the district assemblies on page 6, as stated by the Minister, exercise political and administrative authority in the district. I'm very much interested in the B, which is promote local economic development. Mr. Speaker, if assemblies are able to do this, we will have less challenges in the local areas. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, we need resources to make this work. And we have a big challenge as to how we resource the assemblies to deliver on this particular role. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, we have the District Assembly Common Fund to support the development in the district assemblies. The challenge has been that, as a nation, we have not been able to fully implement the resource allocation that will support the assemblies to deliver on the services that they are supposed to do. As we speak, the allocation of 5% of the national revenues to the assemblies, Mr. Speaker, it is not enough. I believe that as a nation, if you want our assemblies to work and to bring development to the people, we need to increase the allocation, at least to about 10% of the national revenue, the national total revenue, which I believe that if this is done, you will be able to see much development in the assemblies. Mr. Speaker, the participation has been low, all because the assemblies, the interest in the work of the district assemblies are not much fed by the people that are within the local areas. And that if we are able to resource the assemblies, then the people will feel the need for them to participate actively in the local decision-making process so that they will get enough benefits from the local assemblies. Mr. Speaker, I will touch on the work of the assembly members. Mr. Speaker, the duties of the assembly member is not just to sit at the General Assembly meetings, but they have to work in the electoral areas before they attend assembly meetings. Mr. Speaker, some electoral areas, the assembly members, they need resources to conduct the pre-meeting tours and visitations and thereby that they have to take the views of the local people to be presented at the General Assembly meetings. Mr. Speaker, sometimes some of the district assemblies, they are unable even to pay the T&T of the assembly members. How can they have enough resources to go through the electoral areas and to work so that they have interface with the people before they attend assembly meetings? Mr. Speaker, as a nation, we need to take this issue very seriously. We need to resource the assembly members. If you want them to have effective work and support the local development of the area, and I believe that the Minister for Local Government is here, we need to take this issue, up and work towards resourcing assembly members in the delivery of their duties as assigned by the law. Mr. Speaker, I will want to urge all members to take the assembly work very seriously. Let me conclude by saying that we also need to train the assembly members, we need committee members in the work that they have been elected to do. Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Local Government and Rural Development undertook some visits to some assemblies. It's quite unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that some assembly members, some unit committee members, they need to, we have to build their capacity to understand what they are supposed to do at the district assembly when they are elected. It is very important, and I will urge the minister and government and all stakeholders to take this as a very important issue that needs to be addressed. Mr. Speaker, I'm concluding by saying that this government brought a proposal to Parliament for district chief executives to be elected. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the proposal of government did not go through. I believe that if you want to have an accountable MMDCs, if you want to have full participation by the local people, then the leaders must be accountable. And that elections is key to bring accountability. If perchance this nation, this country, gets that opportunity again to elect the district chief executives, which are in charge of the district assemblies, we should all think through and make it work. I believe that that is also one key that will help improve our decentralization and local governance system. I thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Honourable members, I may need to limit the time of our contributions. I'm guided here by leadership, and I'm told it should be 3 from each side of the House. We've had 1 from each side, now it's level 2. So I'll look at agenda and allow Honorable Dr. Zanator Rollins to make her comments. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by the Minister. And it's simply to say that when we look in the sub-region with regards to the expansion of violent extremism, one of the things that Ghana has that has made us not a suitable haven for this is our decentralization and our local governance system. The fact that we have eliminated the majority of ungoverned spaces in this country is a huge factor as to why this country is still a safe haven with regards to the fact that we don't have any experience of terrorism. Whereas in other countries, the extreme lack of provision by the state of the amenities and infrastructure in various areas that are outside of the capital created a vacuum that allowed for terrorist armed groups to now assume the role of the state in providing pipe-borne water and providing education and other necessary things that the state should have been providing for those communities, which meant that in the end, most of those communities were aligned with those groups that were perceived to be terrorists in those various countries. However, Mr. Speaker, I remember as a child when the district level elections first started, there was a lot of information on the television, on adverts in between the news, in between the local news and international news, and there was an active drive to inform citizens about the need to participate in the district level elections. However, Mr. Speaker, as we've seen the reduction in interest in the local governance and in the elections that occur in our various assemblies, we've also seen in some cases a decrease in the caliber of persons who represent the various communities, visibility for the various assemblies to actually deliver on their mandates with regards to what the needs are in those various communities. Mr. Speaker, if we are going to complain about the fact that not enough is being done in our communities, then we need to take greater interest in what happens in our local elections. Mr. Speaker, the direct link between voting in one's local elections and the resultant outcome in the community is more easily perceived than the result of voting for a particular party, which brings in various members of parliament and the president, because the local governance, that structure actually has the mandate and is supposed to have the funds and resources to actually provide development for our various communities. And so, Mr. Speaker, even though this statement is rather late in the day, it's still an important one. And hopefully, as we work towards the next round of elections at the local level, a lot more information should be disseminated. There should be greater interest in town hall meetings in the various assemblies, because attendance is very poor. In my municipality, whenever town hall meetings are called, very few people actually attend, which shows that there's a lack of understanding of the value of the local governance structures to the livelihoods of people in our various communities. And so, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to use this opportunity to actually appeal to all citizens to take as much interest in our local governance elections as they do in the general elections that we do to elect our members of parliament and the president. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I thank you so much for the opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. The Honourable Minister for Health, right?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute to the statement made by my colleague, MP for Kre, and the Minister for Local Government. Mr. Speaker, just to note that I have once been an assemblyman. The days where assemblymen were very much recognized and there was some enthusiasm in various communities for assemblymen's elections. Mr. Speaker, just like the minister said, the voter turnout has actually dropped and dropped and dropped. Even below assemblymen, we have the unit committee concept. And Mr. Speaker, it will be interesting for you to note that, as I speak, several electoral areas don't have unit committees because of lack of enthusiasm for citizens even to put themselves up for this unit committee level elections. Why has this come to this level? Mr. Speaker, awareness creation in the various electoral areas and communities is just that very, very low. Because the assembly members don't seem to be very, very useful even in their communities. Why? Because resources don't flow to their level. And quite a large number of them continue even to depend on MPs to support them to do their work in the various constituencies. In that respect, the community itself bypassed the assemblymen and straight to the MPs' homes for support and what it is that we have. They are supposed to call town hall meetings. But again, Mr. Speaker, it was amazing to note. I can't remember when an assemblyman called the town hall meeting that brought in more than 20 people. Even during my time around the 90s, anytime I called a town hall meeting, it was only my mother and a friend of hers who would meet me at the community center. Clearly, people were not interested. And this has degenerated even into voter turnout in various assemblies. Mr. Speaker, there was a time where the local government ministry was giving out motorbikes to assemblymen to help them do their work. And the question I ask is that, could we sustain that practice? The assemblymen are not remunerated. They give them some semblance of ex gratia after 4 years when they are exiting. But even that, they are supposed to go and make their own resolution, if money is available, to take some part of their internally generated funds to do their, how do I call it, ex gratia arrangements. Mr. Speaker, there is a need for us in Parliament and government to try to find a way of resourcing the assemblymen so that they can meet the aspirations of various communities. Mr. Speaker, they don't have nothing. The assemblies are not giving them nothing to their communities, so they continue living in the communities as if they have no authority wherever they live. And that will change their enthusiasm for citizens to come to the level of what assemblymen are doing. Mr. Speaker, that shows that citizenship participation in decision making seems to have gone down and down and down. And I believe that if you don't find something to do now, tomorrow it will come to the turn that even our made elections that elects MPs and presidents may also begin to dip, and people's interests will have waned off and gone away. So, Mr. Speaker, I will join with my colleague to encourage all of us to see how best we can double our efforts to fight for resources for the various assemblies and the assembly men. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I want to end my contribution, and I thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm grateful.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to rise to contribute to the statement ably made by the Honorable Minister of Local Government in respect of the district level elections scheduled for Tuesday, 19th December 2023. Right Honorable Speaker, as a practitioner, a former assembly member, former vice president of NALAC, and then a former general secretary of the National Association of Local Authorities of Ghana. The dwindling numbers in the participation at the local level is a thing of great concern to me. And so I believe that as a nation, it is important for us to stop taking or treating the issue of local level election as if we want to take that every 4 years we get elections conducted as part of our mandate, a constitutional mandate. Citizen government engagement is where most of our people at the base or the local level participate in governance, and political economy says that one of the critical areas to look at is building governance capacity at the local level. And so if we treat it as every 4 years, yes, we are mandated to get this thing done, and so we are getting it done without looking at the quality that comes with the practice. I think eventually all that we have done in the area of decentralization will be derailed, and that is not what we look at. It is also very important for us, Mr. Speaker, to look at competence and commitment when it comes to local governance. The people who are contesting, because we are only looking at competence and commitment when it comes to presidential and parliamentary elections. It will interest you to know that it is at the local level that most people or most women get the opportunity to participate, because it is closer to us at home and it is easier for us to jump in and attend to community work and then go back. So if we are not able to build our capacity and interest in this level, if we are not able to build our interest at the local level, this is the result we will see. That out of 275 members of parliament, only 40 are women. And it is very important that we start from somewhere. Where to start from is the local level. If we are really interested in what is happening at the local level and our self-deepening decentralization, it is critical for us to get down to our people, make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to participate. This also means that every bottleneck to participation must be removed, because participation must be treated as a right and not as a privilege when it comes to local governance, where the right holders will be able to hold duty bearers accountable to the offices that we hold or will be elected to hold. And then we'll be able to live up to expectation of our people. Right, Honorable Speaker, this is the more reason why making the Ghana card the sole document for voting is not the right way to go. And this recent registration we undertook, you realize that the majority of people do not have the voter ID card. Aside the hassle they go through in getting the the Ghana card, you realize that most often people are in a hurry to acquire it and they have to pay, where at the local level they don't have the means to pay. At this moment, I will also want to add my voice to the many voices that we as parliamentarians come on board to encourage as many people as possible to participate at the local level elections. Not just that, we should also make sure that we put our money where our heart is and encourage more women to participate at this level, because if you turn around and look at the numbers that have registered to contest this year, you realize that the women at the local level are very low. Let's put in measures to ensure that we encourage all to come on board and support those who put themselves up, both the district level and then the unit committee elections. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, yes, that is the last person, 3-3. We have to move
Thank you,
on.
Mr. Speaker. First, we'll thank the local government minister for the. Okay. We'll thank the local government minister for such a brilliant presentation on the participation in the local government election. Mr. Speaker, I do believe that one of the biggest challenges that we've come to see with our elections is that the local level has become non-partisan. And because it's non-partisan, the platforms upon which assembly members are socialized or the communities are socialized around is not consistent or is not sustainable. Because after every assembly election, when a new assemblyman comes on board, the platform around which is able to socialize the community changes. And therefore, building up the momentum all the time to get so many people to come and vote during the elections becomes a problem. Secondly, we also know that because it's also non-partisan, naturally, a lot of MPs find it difficult to get involved. Because now that we are even being told to go and mobilize people to go and vote, if we are not careful, we might even be told that we are making a partisan. And therefore, these are some of the reasons why we are getting it difficult, getting a lot of people to be voting during these elections. Secondly, when it comes to the issue of financing assemblies, I remember at 936, the suggestion came that even the financing should not end just at the Metropolitan Assembly. It should go all the way to the town councils and go all the way to the sub-metros. Direct, fortunately, we could not succeed. So you consistently see that a lot of the local areas are simply not working. And if you say that local government is to get governance closer to the people, it is not just about going to the people and talking. It's about going there to solve their problems. Unfortunately, a lot of our assemblies are finding it so difficult to be able to solve the problems of the people. And the more we are not able to solve the problems, naturally the enthusiasm to be voting, coming to queue to vote becomes a problem. Mr. Speaker, one area you realize is that even though the common fund, they say about 5%, if you look at what comes to the MPs, and you see how effective it is in solving community problems or individual problems, naturally when it gets to parliamentary elections, people rally around the MPs. Unfortunately, when it gets to the level of the district assemblies, the assemblymen do not have their own common fund. They just don't have it. So in situations where they can quickly respond to the needs of their people, Mr. Speaker, it becomes a difficulty. And when we are not solving problems, naturally, we don't expect people to be enthusiastic about queuing up and coming to vote for our people. So I believe that we have to relook or rethink the mechanisms of spending money at the assembly level. Whether we should create a new common fund for assembly members is something that we have to be looking at. And how even the assembly does their own budget in solving the community problems one after the other. Mr. Speaker, what we should also understand is that it's because of the partisan nature of the election, of the partisan nature of parliamentary elections. That is why we are able to build a lot of momentum. Unfortunately for the assembly elections, we don't have that. And I believe that we have to revisit the voting of our DCEs by the general public, and at the same time the voting of our assembly members on partisan basis. I believe that if we are able to do that, we'll be able to use that to move people and build a momentum for the local assembly election. Because we can never put a partisan system on a non-partisan system. I believe that if we are ready to build momentum, or if we want to build momentum for these assembly elections, then one, we have to make the assembly elections partisan, and we should also make the DC election partisan, so that there will be partisan on the ground and the partisan on top, so that top and down, everything should be partisan, so that we can use that to build the numbers of the conclude. In concluding, Mr. Speaker, we are grateful for the speech, and I believe that the only way to solve the non-participation in the local assembly election is to make it fully partisan, so that this country can go forward.
Honorable members, we go to public business. At the commencement of public business, item
10.
Yes, please. Item 9B. Item 9B. Presentation and first reading of bills. 9B. Customs Amendment Bill 2023. Minister for Finance.
An act.
Nine B. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, for 9B, remember that it's been late earlier. Now the minister is here to withdraw the first one and then resubmit this one. So he will make an application to withdraw the first one that was late and then present this new one. That's what
I've been given notice.
Right.
I'm aware of that. Yes. We are ready for the application to be made to withdraw the one that had been laid and then to substitute it with a new bill. So please, the Minister for Finance may do so now.
Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House to withdraw the earlier one and to lay the subsequent one.
Honourable members, this bill was laid and is now the property of the House. For the minister to succeed, to withdraw it, he needs your leave, your permission to do so. And so your permission is being sought by the Minister for Finance. Leadership.
Mr. Speaker, indeed, the said bill was laid before us last Friday. In fact, the Finance Committee sat on it, but we noticed a number of errors. And accordingly, the Minister was advised to withdraw and relay. So, Mr. Speaker, is in line with what we have discussed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Haruna Drisu.
Speaker, thank you very much. Mine is just matter of practice and procedure. I should believe that, Mr. Speaker, we should take them 1 in 10. First of all, we are on presentation and first reading of bills. And as you rightly guided, the Honourable Minister for Finance is seeking to withdraw, because when the bill was first presented, Mr. Speaker, you rightly directed that it be referred to a committee. So it becomes a matter before the committee. I should think that you should grant, the House should grant you leave for him to withdraw before he proceeds to the second step for the presentation of now custom amendment bill. So just matter of practice. He should walk gingerly. Let him make the application, Mr. Speaker, to you to withdraw. Then the House will grant you leave to withdraw then he can go through the second process. You can't do the two things at the same time. That's procedurally. You cannot be withdrawing and presenting a paper. That's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I cannot really understand the principle. A person brings a bill, a paper, or whatever to the House. Now the man or whoever is shepherding the bill or motion says that I'm declining interest. And then you are saying I'm going to pursue it for you. Is that your understanding of the rules of the House? You are totally wrong in this understanding. Mr. Speaker, the minister has made the application. He said he was going to seek the leave of the House to withdraw. That's what he said.
Honorable members, Order 78 of our standing orders. It reads, unless any order otherwise provides, notice shall be given any motion which is proposed to make, except the following. The relevant one is H. A motion for the withdrawal of a bill. So you don't need to give notice when you want to withdraw a bill. I had to refer to item 9B because that one is the new bill that is to be laid to raise the issue for the minister to make the motion to withdraw the earlier one that had been laid and referred to the committee. Then they now have the opportunity to lay the new one or present it to the House. And so there was no need for that notice to be done on the order paper. That is why usually we don't put the notice there. Just drawing your attention to the procedure. If we want to amend this standing order, we may do so that it now becomes an item, withdrawal of motion or first reading of a bill. But as of now, there is no need for the notice. And so you will not have an item on the order paper specifically on that one. So I think the writing has been done. We'll grant leave to the minister to draw this one, particularly with the information from the minority leader that the committee drew the minister's attention to some challenges in the current one. So leave is granted to the Minister for Finance to withdraw the earlier bill that had been presented. Honorable members, the mode of withdrawal is not captured by our standing orders. So the mode of withdrawal Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you just read 78. And 78 says that he should withdraw by motion. So the word motion has been used. And so he has to move. And the matter has to be put to this House. We have to vote on it. That's what a motion is all about. And if we challenge the result, then there should be a head count. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the standing order is clear. That it should come by motion. And it is one of the motions that are exempted from notice being served. So, let him move the motion and let us take a decision on the motion. He won't have a problem because this is a recommendation of a committee of this House. So we don't envisage that you have a problem withdrawing the bill. And we don't envisage a head count, Mr. Speaker.
We don't need to debate this matter. I think that the earlier motion was for the leave the leave has been granted. So, Minister, you have been called upon to move another motion for withdrawal. So, Minister for Finance, move a motion for withdrawal now. Move a motion for withdrawal of the bill. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, at your instance, the Minister will do that. The Minister will do what you are suggesting that he does, except to say, Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are reading not the entire complement of what is required under the standing orders. Order 82 provides a member who has proposed a motion may withdraw it, but if the motion has been seconded, he may do so only by the leave of the House. Presenting a paper to the House does not require a motion for it to be seconded. People should understand this. But, Mr. Speaker, because we don't want to waste time, and because you have directed, the Minister will do that. Precisely. Read it. Read what is contained in 82.
Honorable Majority Leader, Honorable Majority Leader, the Minister for Finance is not a member of this House. He is not a member of this House. The Constitution and outstanding orders define member to mean member of Parliament. But he is allowed by the standing orders to participate in the proceedings of the House. He is allowed to participate. That doesn't make him a member of the House. Honorable members, please, there is no need for debate here. Minister, kindly move the motion to withdraw the bill.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House. Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House to withdraw the Customs Amendment Bill 2023. I beg to move.
Honorable members, for the withdrawal of the bill has been moved by the... Yes. Well, motion moved and seconded. Declaration of the House. Honorable members, I put the question. Those in favor say aye. And say no. I repeat. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the motion is accordingly, the bill is accordingly withdrawn. We will now allow the Minister for Finance to present to the House the new bill on the Customs Amendment 2023. Present the new bill to the House.
An act to amend the first schedule to the Customs Act 2015 Act 891 to add 431 tariff lines to the customs tariff and to provide a waiver for the importation of raw materials for the manufacturing of sanitary towels and for related matters.
Honourable members, the said bill is accordingly referred to the Committee on Finance for consideration and report to the House. We now move to item 10, motion. And what is left with that motion is head count to be taken. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there is a C to the 9. The C to the 9, which must be presented.
The information to me was only on B. Nobody mentioned that C was ready to be laid.
No,
I was told B was ready. So if C is ready, we'll just allow the same minister to present the bill to the House. Minister for Finance, item 9C.
An act to amend the Exemptions Act 2022, Act 1083, to provide the waiver of customs duty and customs in respect of the importation of fishing gear, seeds and fertilizer for the planting of foods and jobs programs phase 2 for agricultural purposes and for related matters.
Honourable members, the Exemptions Amendment Bill 2023 is accordingly presented to the House and referred to the Committee on Finance for consideration and report to the House. I think we can now move to item 10, motion. What is left with item 10 is to take a head count. So head count to be taken. Yes, Honourable Member for
Mr. Speaker.
Dadu.
Mr. Speaker, I hesitate to rise to ask for your guidance at this stage. But I think that since we haven't taken the vote yet, I can seek your guidance. Mr. Speaker, I'm at pains to see whether what we are proposing to do is supported by the standing orders or by the Constitution. Item 10 says that we are doing two things. We are approving the budget statement and the economic policy.
Honourable Member, who are you referring to as you are doing?
Sorry, not you. You are not part of it. The motion is for the approval.
You mean the House?
The House, yes. Now, Mr. Speaker, the first time that the Constitution or the standing orders mentions budget is in the standing orders. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders tells us in standing order 141 that the statement of the estimated revenue and expenditure of the government in respect of each financial year in these orders referred to as the budget shall be presented to the House on such a day as the Business Committee may direct. Mr. Speaker, today we are not examining the estimates. Today we are not examining the estimates. In fact, so if the standing order tells us that we are voting on the statement and the economic policy, we cannot be voting on the budget if we have not examined the estimates. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the standing orders, the procedure for budget is contained Mr. Speaker, my colleagues opposite should know that both me and you were known to the court, and the court knew us. So that is the least of my worries. But Mr. Speaker, we are speaking in the House, we are seeking your direction. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the standing orders, it says that whenever a motion, after the budget has been proposed, then a motion is moved that the financial policy of government for the year ending so and so has been moved and will be debated upon. Mr. Speaker, the next order that is made by your good self is that the estimate for each of the areas shall be referred to the committees responsible for those areas. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the standing orders order 146, it says that after that, when we resume the debate, it says that we shall consider the reports that come from every committee. So the procedure is that it comes here, it is referred to the various committees, and the debate starts. What we vote upon is two things. We vote upon the reports from the various committees, and we vote upon the appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, this practice or convention on voting on the principles of the budget as described myself, or on the financial policy, is not supported by the standing orders or the Constitution. And if we are voting on the budget statement, then per the definition of budget statement in the standing orders, it means we are voting on the estimates. And Mr. Speaker, at this stage, we cannot be voting on the estimates because they have not been considered by the various committees. And the estimates will be voted upon at the stage that we are voting on appropriation. Mr. Speaker, one will say that because we filed the motion, it has to be moved and seconded and voted upon. I heard somebody opposite say it some time ago. Mr. Speaker, let's look at Order 58. Order 58 deals with the statement of the State of the Nation by the President. Even though a motion is moved, we don't vote upon it. It is not every motion that is voted upon. And at this stage, the best that can be done is that we consider it as we consider procedural motions, or it is a motion of a special nature. And as the estimates and the reports come forth, then we vote on it individually. And that is what will be done. If you read the standing orders and combine order 140 and you combine it with order 146, Mr. Speaker, you will come to the conclusion that after the motion has been moved and the estimates given, what happens is that we vote upon it as the reports start coming in, estimate upon estimate, sector upon sector. So, Mr. Speaker, at this stage, I don't want to read all the standing orders and bore you and the House in your bosom. But at this stage, we cannot be voting on the budget statement because the budget is defined by the standing orders as the estimates, and expenditure of the government in respect of each financial year. And we cannot vote on it because, Mr. Speaker, we have not even yet finished discussing it. The reports are not in for the committees. So at this stage, it is merely a procedural vote or it's control. We vote at the end of the report stage, and we vote also when we have the appropriation bill. Mr. Speaker, I seek your guidance on this issue. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Mayarga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think it is important for the Honorable Joe Gatti to pay attention to the nomenclature used in the Constitution and in our standing orders. Article 179 of our Constitution speaks of the President causing the estimates of the revenues and expenditures of government. The revenues and expenditures of government to be laid. Revenues and expenditures. Then you go to the standing orders, because the Constitution also says that Parliament shall by standing orders regulate how we pass the appropriations bill. Then in our standing orders, it is provided in standing order 143 that after he has laid the estimates of revenues and expenditures, then he moves a motion. I was standing on a motion. And so the motion to be moved is whenever a motion that this House approves the financial policy. Financial policy is not the same as estimates of revenue and expenditure. It is the policy. It is the policy that informs the estimates of the revenue and expenditure. So we are to debate the policy informing the revenues and expenditure and take a decision on that before we go to the appropriations bill itself. Mr. Speaker, and anywhere our standing orders use the word motion, then it is a matter that must be voted on. Because a motion is to take a decision. A motion is that we should take a decision. And how do we take a decision without voting unless there is a consensus? And it's obvious that in this matter there is no consensus. Given that there is no consensus, Mr. Speaker, we will have to vote. And we voted, and you ruled on the voting, and this side challenged and called for a head count. So, Mr. Speaker, you are doing the right thing, deciding that we should go ahead and carry out the head count. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I don't think this is a matter properly before the House to be debated. Joe Gatti simply sought my guidance, and I'm entitled to listen to you or not to listen to you in guiding him. I decided to listen to you, but this decision doesn't open up this matter for debate. I think it's something that we will debate later on. But for today, the hairs will have to be counted. So we are going to the head count now. Honourable members, the clerk at the table will call your name and you stand out to be recognized, and then the head will be counted. So at the end of the day, if your head is not here, it cannot be counted. So clerk, please get the list of the members of parliament. Oh, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker.
Your head is here, it will be counted, don't worry.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, if there is a head count, our orders are very clear. In your place and you are counted. It does not involve mentioning names one by one. Since when have we done this? Since when have we done this? Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, we are ready. The House is ready. The House is ready. We don't want to waste time on this. Let there be the head count as the practice is. And then we move on.
Honourable members, There is no disagreement in this matter. I have not said that anybody should stand at anybody's seat. I said you will stand at your seat and you'll be counted. That's all what I said. Yes. And so when they mention your name, you stand at your seat, not at anybody's seat, and you'll be counted. You stand at your seat and be counted. So, honorable members, let's start.
Abaka Samuel Erickson.
Please, we've started. Let's listen to each other. Yes, clap.
Abaka Samuel Erickson.
Honorable members, please get up and you stand at your seat. You let us know what you are voting for, yes or no. Honorable members, please. Honorable members, unless we are saying that all those on my right are voting in a block and those on my left are voting in block. If not, I will not be able to tell, and the table office will not be able to tell whether the person voted yes or no. If we take that decision, then we are well guided. Honorable members, the shouting will not take us anywhere. The yelling will not take us anywhere. You have to keep quiet and let us count the hairs. Finish. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt at all about what is contained in our orders. Our orders provide Order 1132. A member may call for a head count or division if the opinion of Mr. Speaker on the voice vote is challenged. That was what was done by the Deputy Minority. And 1134 provides, in the case of head count, Mr. Speaker shall take the vote of the House by calling upon members who support or oppose to his decision successively to rise in their places. Mr. Speaker, so for those who support it, who said the ayes have it. So now it will be for you to ask who support the ayes, and then the ayes will rise up to be counted. That is what it is. Those who are opposed to it, who said no, you call for those who support the no, and they will get up. This is the convention and practice of this house. Away from this prevarication and trying to vary the others. With the greatest respect, I'm pleading with you.
just conform to what you have been doing always. Call for those who support the ayes, they will rise up. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be one side. They may come from the other side as well. So let's do that, and then we'll move on to the greatest effect.
Honorable Majority Leader, the same standing order you read, which is 1133, says, in the case of head count, Mr. Speaker shall take the vote of the House by calling upon members who support or oppose his decision. That is my decision. Successively to rise in their places. Yes, honorable members, this decision of mine was taken some days back, not today. It was taken some days back. For some reason, we couldn't take the vote that day. We are now doing it today. And what's left to be done is to count the heads. That is what is there. The word. We are now, please, successive. Honorable members, this cannot compel the Speaker to let them count your heads. You better resume your seats. You don't achieve anything by this. Even after all what I do here, when you go out and misrepresent what I do here to the public and let them attack me, I listen to everything. It's only I don't react. Please, the differences between what the majority leader is saying and what I'm saying is the interpretation of the word successively. Successively. That is in the standing orders. Please. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I see no reason why we should litigate over this matter. Mr. Speaker, I say this because you are absolutely right, Honorable Speaker. The language in our standing order, Order 1133, is clear. And the use of the word successively does not mean we should rise in groups. It's simple, one after the other. So, Mr. Speaker, you are right. And I see no reason why we should litigate over this matter. Mr. Speaker, if we had started, I'm sure we may be halfway through it. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge you to continue the process because, Mr. Speaker, clearly, Order 1133 is clear on this matter and we should not deviate from that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, as I've said, I disagree with this interpretation and I must emphasize it. I strongly disagree. However, knowing that you want to stick to your position, I'll surrender. Let's do the head count. Whatever you want to do, let's do it. We are ready. Let's do it.
Majority Leader, don't give the impression that this is the first time this is being done. We have done this a number of times on this floor. Please, please, please. We have done this a number of times. The records can bear me out. The official reports are there. Don't give any impression that this is the first time it's been done. Please. Again, the guidance you leadership gave me is what I am following. I have not departed from that guidance. Please. Clerk, may we start? Is it the case that anybody standing from my right side is for ayes? Those standing from my left for noes? In that case, you don't have to mention ayes or noes, but the names will have to be mentioned. Please go on.
Abaka Samuel Erickson. Abanga Abdullahi. Abdullahi Jacob Idris. Abdullahi Jacob Idris Alaji. Abdul Latif Dan.
Where's Abdul?
Abdul Salam Adams. Abdulakwa Samuel Kujato. Abuaji George Kwame. Abuaji Kojo Nyampong. Abdul Larba Zuera.
I'm here.
Achampong Brian. Achampong Charles. Achampong Richard. Kwaku Sophia Karen Adam. Kwaku Sophia Karen Adam. Alexander Akwesi. Adam Hamza, Prof. Adam Mohammed Amin, Doctor. Adam Skofi Idi. Eddie Teddy Safori. Adoya Frimpong. Again, Wesibuati. Adon Frederick Obin. Adumaku Mensah Alex, Doctor. Adumaku Mensah Collins. Adongo Isaac. Edu Johnson Kwaku. Edu Chumbia or say, Doctor. I pay your mark and Alexander Pamina. Afo Eric. A free fan mensa Kwesi Ousu. A free and you, Doctor. A free Kwaku, Doctor. Agaga James. Agabe Charles. Abuja Kwame Governs. A Japan Ken Ohini. Ajari Alexander. Ejeku Emmanuel Kwajo. Ajimai Menu Kwaku. Ajimai Rollins Aneto. Ajeni Mbwati Kwaku. Ayinkra Kingsley Carlos. Ayinkra Frederick Yao. Ahi Samson. Anyafo Bernard. Edu William Oreku. Akando Kwabdaminta. Akamvariba Lydia Lamisi. Achia Samuel Ata. Alazubu Albert Akuka. Alhassan Abdullahi Idi. Alhassan Bashir A. Fuseni. Alhassan Lydia Seyram. Alhassan Shaibu Suwini.
No.
Ali Muhammad Umar Farouk. Alaute Angela Foriwa. Amankwa Nicholas. Amankwa Nicholas. Amankwa Menu Kofi. Amau John Peter. Chirami Kwesi. Amwa Sebonso. Amwa Stephen Doctor. Amwaku Andres Yama. Amwaku Ata Kwesi. Ampim Thomas Nyaku. Ampa Chum Kwame.
Speaker,
please,
my name is not Chum. I'm Chumasi, please.
Andre Emmanuel. Anim Ernest Yao. Anim Moses. Another Frank. Anki Eugene Boachi. Animadu Anki Kwame. Apa Clement Abbas, Doctor. Apiaje Patricia. Apia Kubi Andy Kwame. Prince Hamidu, Doctor. Asamoah Vincent Opon. Asanti Kwajo. Asanti Buati Kwaku. Asanti Buachi Francis.
Esiama is a Kwame. Esiama Kwabna Amankwa. Esiama Eje Nana Amadukua. Asafo Vincent Eko. Atame Samuel. Abeji James Kuluche. Avoka Cletus Apul. Ewa Ignatius Bafo. Awuni Teresa Ladi. Ayamba Ladi Ayi. Ayariga Mama. Ayiku Benjamin Nati. Ayine Dominic. Doctor. Bafi Michael Tree. Bafi Michael Tree. Baba Benson Tongo. Bali the Bright Bachi. Yalivi Doctor. Bandim Azuma Abednego. Bano Patrick. Battle Sheila. Bawa Edward. Bejira Emmanuel Kwesi. Betino Joseph. Blanson Alex. Buachi Henry Yadon. Buachi Yadon Patrick, Doctor. Buama Patrick Yao. Buati Akwesi Dakun. Buati Amapoma. Buati Joseph Apia. Bobie Evans Oboku. Bojo Daniel. Brahma Ahmad Bawa. Bua Emmanuel Amakofi. Bukari Joseph Ipe. Shiana Amidu Ishaku. Trajia Samson Kangobu. Chiwate Andre Dari. Prince Abeku. Kujo Comfort Doyo. Kujo Joseph. Kujo Robert Wisdom. Lapiameko Roxon Nelson Eche Kwame. Dalu Thomas Ada. Lapila Kletu Seidu. Daku Daniel Ohini. Daku Mensa Kwabna Ochi. Dauda Collins Alaji. Daudi Abukari. Terry Ambrose. Jonabua Alex Tete. Donko Elvis Morris. Donko Kwabna. Duka George Muriku. Iyanana. Fojo in team, Reverend. Force in Kessel Atuba, Doctor. Frimpong Joseph. Gakpe Kwame Jujoli. George Samuel Nati. Ganza Alasan Kobina. Gate Joe. Ginisu Wisdom. Gomado Yao. Gomashi Abdullah Jifa. Jesse. John Alexander. John Mensa Richard. Hamon Kobinata Head. Ansenote Ace. Haruna Seidu. Effort for Filia Mensa. Authority Alexander Roosevelt. Ibrahim Ahmed. Ibrahim Mutala Muhammad. Ibrahim Zura Muhammad. Idrisu Habib. Idrisu Haruna. Isifu Seidu. Jabba John Benan. Jaja Yusuf Isaka. Jalula Stephen Pambi. Jesel Godfrey Seidu, Doctor. Yinapo John Abdullahi. Yinapo Samuel Abdullahi. Kini Kisi Dixon Adomako Doctor. Funedu Akwesi present. Thompson Mavis Howard. Kosa Martin Kwaku Ajay Mensa. Kodo Benjamin Komla. Kum Ebenezer Kojo. Kuma John Mbwetwa, Doctor. Kuma Joseph Kwame.
Present.
Kuyon Solomon. Kwachia Kapita Yao. Kwati Kwaku Ajimai. Kofi Festus Ewa Doctor. J. Mensabus Osei. Trami Nelson. Labi Oscar Ofori. Lati Agnes Namomo. Doctor. Lewa Oscar. Mama Asei Seini. You are present. Mama Nessa Turi. Manu Adabo Francis. Marfo Doctor. Mabo Kofi Ahinkura. Boba Thomas. Mensa Betty Nana Ifua Crosby. Mensa Francisca Otin, Mensa Isaac Ajay, Mensa Joseph Kwesi, Mensa Tina Giftina Ayele, Mensa Andrew Kofi Ejapa, Morrison Cynthia Mamle, Muntaka Mubarak Muhammad, Musa Abdul Aziz Ayaba, Nanja Sanja, Napari Dominic, Nawan Mark Kurt, Doctor, Newman Dakwa, Nitiwo Dominic, Nkansa Bwedu Mavis, Nokwe Kofi Akun, Nogbe Ernest Henry, Nochu Kotwe Peter Kwesi, Ntim Adelaide, Ntim Augustine Collins, Ntosuele Najua, Nyangote Albert Tete, Nyanko Bismarck Tete, Nyanko Kingsley Prof, Nyanko Kwamina Minta Doctor, Obin Techi Bensa Kwabina, yes, Obin Buati Alfred, Oklulin da Obiniwa Akwile, Odamte Isaac Ashia, Obosua Jare Elizabeth, Okufu Data Williams, Ochiri Ejekum Kofi, Oboku Davis Ansa, Oboku Eric, Oboku Isaac Yao Doctor, Obong Nkrumah Kojo, Osai John Frimpong, Osai Kennedy Nyaku, Osai Asari Abna, Osai Asari Abna, Osai Osai Owusu Joseph, Osai Owusu Joseph, Oti John Patna Bless, Otuta Christian Bolete, Owusu Bio Benito, Esla Ekufo Owusu, pay to Desmond the Graft, Purple Abdul Rashid Hassan, Doctor, Prempe Frida Kosua, Doctor, Prempe Matthew Opoku, Doctor, Kwate Henry, Quincy James Jechi, Ramadan Mohammed Adamu, Ricketts Hegem George Kweku, Safu Sarah Adua, Sandari Sebastian Mento, Sani Suleiman Adamu, Sani George Kobna Aban Abua, Queensta Soya Queensta Abua, Sefe Richard Kwame, Secretary Benjamin Yabua Doctor, Sosu Francis, Sowa Dela Ajua, Rita Na Odole, Suparu Adams Mohammed, Suleiman Adaman, Suleimana Al-Hassan Tampilu, Suleiman Suleiman Yusuf, Suman Tony Himkra, Tahidu Abdul Razak, Terry Augustine, Doctor, Terry Augustine, Doctor, Tel Aviv Ebenezer Clete, Dr. Joycelyn, Dr. Sylvester, Dr. Agotri Kizala, Dr. Joseph Akwete, Tofe Dokas, Tobu Peter Lansani, Tuferu Chum Ampo for Gifting, Chum Barima, Yusuf Mustafa, Wonderful Alfred Oko, Wonderful Edwin Ilante, Vondi David, Papa Daniel Isala, Recoup Robe Bright, Woyome Pabena Mensan, Ziedin Pete Amontazumo,
Honorable members, at the end of the head count, Ayes 138. Noes 136. Absent 1. Honorable members, the ayes have it. Honorable members, this House has accordingly approved the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the year ending 31st December 2024. Honorable members, the issue raised by Honorable Joe Garte is an issue that has come up a number of times in this House. A number of members in the previous Parliament and currently at the post-budget workshop, the Majority Leader raised this issue. It's an issue worthy of consideration. We have gone through the provisions of the Constitution and the standing orders of the House, and there is a need for us to take a second look at the standing orders of the House. Definitely, there are more provisions to look at in the Constitution than what you have been referred to. And I have taken some time to go through these provisions, particularly when this matter was reiterated last week by some members of this House after we could not take the vote. The Standing Orders Committee has taken a deep look into the matter and will be proposing for the consideration of this House during the consideration and the adoption of a resolution to revise these standing orders. And so we've made some proposals therein for your consideration as to how to handle this matter. We have either to pass an act or in some situations a resolution, and some provisions talk about approval, particularly when you are dealing with the capital expenditure of the judiciary. Again, when you are dealing with military budget, that definitely talks about approval. At what stage do you give the approval is the other consideration we looked at. And we all know that is the appropriation bill, whether it's supplementary or not, is what we usually approve pass into the law. And that is also provided for in the Constitution. And so we will look at it together, realign it, and then see how best to handle such situations, because I foresee in the near future this country having a minority government. And if you have a minority government, and the standing orders don't provide for all this scenario, the minority government will always have a problem in getting its budget approved, particularly as members are so partisan, extremely partisan. I know how brilliant members are, but when it's come to debate on the floor or on radio stations, they are carried away by partisan considerations, not what is right or what is good. And so we've taken a deep look at that, and we have revised the standing orders. Latest by next week, it will come before you, because what I've just done is a declaration of the results. But that word doesn't find expression in our standing orders. I just declared the results. It's not a decision taken by me. It's a decision taken by you. I've just declared the results. And so we've done a lot of work on it, and definitely it's something that members should take seriously. With this, we move on to some urgent business, and I'm sure members will have received copies of the order paper addendum. Order paper addendum. Honorable members, this is a matter that had been considered by the House before, and I think in the report of the committee, there was an insertion that is in complete conflict with the decision of the Supreme Court. As to agencies set up for purposes, whether there are transactions in connection with facilities, particularly financial facilities agreements, fall under the purview of Article 1815. The Supreme Court has delivered a judgment in that matter, but that seemed not to have been factored in the earlier decision of the House. And so the committee itself made recommendations on it, and this instrument, this memorandum has been brought forward to rectify the situation. And so I'll be calling on the Minister for Energy to present it to us for our consideration. That is what it's meant to do. Well, let them present it. What is it? Honorable Haruna.
Mr. Speaker, I have no difficulty with the presentation. I'm familiar with the standing orders, but if you read what is there, it ends with the words, "for the attention of Parliament," in order paper addendum. Every paper presented here is for the attention of Parliament, so you cannot present a paper ending with the words, "for the attention of Parliament." I have no difficulty, you can go ahead, but when you put words matter here, you are laying a paper, lay it. You cannot lay a paper and put in the words there, "for the attention of Parliament." Every paper laid here is for the attention of Parliament. He can proceed to do it, but expunge those words, in my view. Thank you.
Honourable members, the Honourable Haruna Idrisu is right. It should end at energy. So it's memorandum on terms and conditions of refinancing of the Litasco Phase 6A facility pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee on Mines and Energy.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
The Minister has hesitated to assent to some documents in his office. So the Deputy Minister is here. He can do the presentation on behalf of the Minister. As for what my colleague, the former minority leader, did, Mr. Speaker, I'm not too sure that it's subject to litigation, because until the paper is presented, there's nothing before us. You go to argue about nothingness when there's nothing before us.
Well, I drew his attention, but he said I should hear him, so I've heard him. That's all right.
Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Minister is here. Let him do the presentation.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we saw the Minister a moment ago, and I thought this matter is a serious matter that the Minister himself should have been here to lay. But, Mr. Speaker, in any case, let us allow the Deputy Minister to lay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Memorandum on terms and conditions of refinancing of the Litasco Phase 6 facility, pursuant to the recommendation of the Committee on Mines and Energy.
Honourable members, the paper is accordingly referred to the Committee on Energy for consideration and report to the House. Honourable members, just the last issue, and then we get the guidance of leadership. You recall I mentioned earlier on that I had to pen to the Minister for Finance on your behalf on some takeaways from the debate on the 2024 budget and economic policy of government. What we just took the head count on. I think the Minister has stepped out, but if I acknowledge receipt of the communication and have indication that they will act on it. And so I'll be following up on your behalf on this matter, because I deem it that is very dear to the hearts of members. The takeaways are on various areas that members emphasized on the debate, in the debate of the budget. I'm sure you've forgotten, and it's quite a lengthy letter. I can't read all of it, but if you want me to mention some, I will do so. You want a reminder? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you were keenly following the debate, and you indicate that you have stranded out very important components of the debate and transmitted the thinking of the House. Or should I use the opinion of the House to the Minister for Finance? And we believe you, so I think we don't need to go through whatever communication that you have done.
I should go through. Yes, my Lord.
Mr. Speaker, what was that you paid attention to the debate and you have taken note of key concerns of members, and that you have put it in the form of a letter to be communicated to the Minister responsible for Finance. Mr. Speaker, I think in view of that, that is enough. And so there's no need for you to go through it or read it to us. Maybe you can communicate same accordingly to the Minister responsible for Finance.
We usually have problems with our system, so I didn't get the import of your submissions. Is it that I should go over it again, or what I've done suffices for the House?
The Speaker, what you have done suffices, and there's no need for you to go over it again. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Honourable Speaker, I do not know whether we'll have the benefit of your observations. What you observe, whether members of the House will have a copy of what we are trying to communicate. Because we also have to own what the observations are for our own thinking and progress.
Actually, earlier on, I gave an indication to those observations here in the House. I did. Just because we've just taken the head count, I'm reminding members that I've already done that, and I've got a feedback that they are definitely looking at the submission members have made. They had to do some sectors. They have to do taxes. The taxes that issues were raised on some sectors that there's a need to scale up the provisions for those sectors, and then some key issues concerning education, particularly our students, the tablets and the rest. Those are the issues. They are not contentious. Yes, leadership.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully, if you can deal with items 39 and 40.
38?
39. 39. Yes, on page 21, and then 40 on page 22.
Honourable members, item 39 at page 21 of the order paper. Is there a question to be put? That is on the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023 being now read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Carried.
An act to establish the Ghana Industrial Property Office for the protection and use of patents, trademarks, industrial designs, geographical indications, and plant varieties, and to provide for related matters.
Honourable members, the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill 2023 is deemed to have been read the second time. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on item 40, it is captured wrongly in the order paper. It says that debate to commence. And Mr. Speaker, I recall that the last time the motion was moved, seconded, and then we did debate on that. So it was also left with the question to be put. So it's in the same category of as item number 39. And that is the correction I seek to make, please.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it is difficult to, I'm not doubting my colleague, but if it's captured, debate to commence. We can't just say that it's wrong. I mean, this is not a vote and proceedings. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not any urgent bill. Can we leave this tomorrow so that the table office, and we can even use the Hansard to confirm what was actually said that day. So we don't do the wrong thing. So we don't do the wrong thing by avoiding the debate on it and just putting the question, Mr. Speaker. And tomorrow somebody will say that a bill was introduced and no debate was done and then we pass it. So, Mr. Speaker, let's tread cautiously on this. It's not an emergency bill, so we can leave this till tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Chairman, the table office is not sure the debate was concluded. So we'll put it that debate to continue. But honorable members, there are some key bills that we have to consider before we go on recess. That we have to finish before we go on recess. One of them is the affirmative action gender equality bill. Even though we said it was not proper for it to be brought under a certificate of urgency, we all know the key role that bill will play in the development of the country. And so we just gave the committee the opportunity. They advised us it's not right for it to be brought under a certificate of urgency, but we all know it's a matter that we have to deal with expeditiously. So please, the committee should, by next week, finish engaging the stakeholders and present a report. Yesterday, the coalition on the affirmative action group met me and stressed the need for them to make inputs, and also urged the House to at least complete it before going on recess. We cannot afford to fail the country. So next week, whatever the situation, we have to take the bill. The other one, as you know, is a bill that has been pending for a long time. Yesterday, I thought you were going to take that bill. Unfortunately, I'm told that because the chairman of the committee was not available, my deputy speaker did not permit the bill to be taken. I take that as a decision made in error, because the absence of the chairman of the committee cannot prevent the House from considering the bill. We have done it a number of times, and so it should not be referred to in future as a precedent. I think it was done in error. So that bill too, a bill on human rights, the bill on the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill 2021 will have to be taken. Sorry, Fair Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was trying to get something to eat when I heard you talking about the bill you just mentioned. So, Speaker, from what you said, it appears to me that a report has been given to you which is inaccurate. And indeed, the same report has been circulated on earth by the proponents of the bill. The Speaker, first and foremost, as at the time my attention was drawn that another member wanted to move the bill, there were less than 50 members of us in the House. We didn't have the numbers to do business. Neither did we have the numbers to take a decision. If there were enough members to do business, I would have permitted discussion to be done and defer questions. Mr. Speaker, more importantly, it was suggested that let the motion be moved, motion for amendment be moved by the ranking member. And I said that the motions were in the name of the chairman, but it was just to save the House from the embarrassment announcing that we didn't have numbers to take a decision. Mr. Speaker, the members of the coalition immediately went press conference and started making allegations that myself and the majority in general are opposed to the bill. Mr. Speaker, when the second reading was done, we were all in the House. And my colleagues will tell you my position on the bill. Suggested to them that even the things they are proposing to take out of the bill, if they bring it here, I will reintroduce them. For members to think that because they proposed it, it is their property is wrong and it's unfair. Once it is laid in the House, it is the property of the House. And it is not for them. And the grandstanding of some of the colleagues thinking that if they do not propose it, it can be done, is wrong. This is the business of the House, and it should be regulated by the standing orders and the Constitution of the House. The Speaker, it is inappropriate for us to assume that because today it is not done today, then it is an attempt to frustrate the process. It is not right. I am a member of the Catholic Church, just as you, Mr. Speaker. The Catholic Church has not raised an issue. Are we not entitled to consider those matters? Are the Honorable Deputy Leader was the one who represented the House at that meeting? Are we not entitled to consider those matters? Did those matters go before the committee? Should we, as he suggested, Honorable Sam just suggested, we could have finished in 1 hour? Please, this bill should last the rest of it should last to serve the whole country. Today I said it was embarrassing for me when it was found out that the Companies Act, the Supreme Court struck out a clause because in a hurry we included a clause which is so elementary. I remember that I was presiding on that day, and it shouldn't have eluded me that we declined permission for a member to be a director when he has not been convicted, just been charged. It shouldn't have eluded me. But these are some of the challenges we endure because we're in a hurry to pass the bill. So I think that it is most unfair to insist that because it was not taken yesterday, then it means that I am against it, the side is against it, and that the members of the side actually took deliberately frustrating the process. I think, Mr. Speaker, this House is guided by rules, this House is guided by our Constitution, and when it comes to business of the House, Mr. Speaker, it is to be shepherded by the leadership. It is to be shepherded by the leadership. And the leadership did not guide me as of yesterday. There was disagreement. The majority, Deputy Majority Whip said, you think that we have done enough for the day. And the Chief Whip said, they haven't agreed that we have done enough for the day. But Mr. Speaker, look round. We are less than 50 members. We did not constitute a quorum to transact business, let alone to take a decision. So, Mr. Speaker, whoever reported that to you, that I did not carry out your instruction, was wrong. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, the Honourable Member Sam George went on air to say that he heard that you instructed me. I spoke with you here at the podium where we exchanged. He was not there. Whatever we discussed was not to his hearing. How could he have said that on air, that he heard that you gave me that instruction? It will not be done. Whatever Mr. Speaker discussed with me, even if he discussed with him further, it should be considered as being intended for him and not for the public. Mr. Speaker, if we don't take care, we will end up in the end dividing the House in a matter in which we have already a concurrence. We are agreed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
This is not a matter to be debated, but because you refer to Honorable Sam George, I will give him the opportunity to say a word.
Most grateful, Right Honorable Speaker. And Right Honorable Speaker, it is very rich and telling that today we are being told that because we don't constitute quorum, we cannot take a private member's bill. Mr. Speaker, we have taken bills in this House, laws that have become laws, with less than 10 people sitting in this chamber, with the first Deputy Speaker presiding. That has not detracted or taken away from the law. Mr. Speaker, the arguments that the amendments on the order paper stand in the name of the chairman of the committee, and so he alone must move them, is practice that is alien to this House. Because we've had government bills that the ranking member, Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, or the deputy ranking, Sosu, or even a member of the committee, Roxon, has moved for government. So when we have amendments that have been agreed, they are not the chairman's amendments. They are amendments of the committee in agreement with the 8 sponsors and the Attorney General of Ghana in the name, and they stand in the name of the committee chairman. If we say that without the committee chairman's presence, we will never take any bill, Mr. Speaker, then let us spell it out here and now, so that the next time a government bill comes, and the Honorable Joseph Osei-Owusu is presiding, and the chairman is not around, I will stand up and remind him and say that the House must end. Because then that will be the precedent we are setting. But Mr. Speaker, let us be clear. Let us be clear. Yesterday, the leadership on the other side said that there was agreement to end business at a certain stage. Leadership on our side indicated that that was not the case. I rose and drew the attention of the first Deputy Speaker to the fact that the Speaker had intimated, not even in secret and not just in the conversation when he was handing over, but while sitting in the chair, that we were going to take the urgent question, take the laying of papers, and take the bill. The consideration of the bill. The Hansard is there. The Speaker said it. Not once, but 3 times yesterday. So it is not about whatever the Speaker may have even said to me, or just what he said to the first deputy when he was handing over. The Speaker had given indication of what the business on the floor should have been. And I think that we should respect the authority of the Speaker as well. Because this is not the first time it is happening. So I think that if we are adding them on the fact that we want to take this bill, the right forum will be that, Right Honorable Speaker, the bill is taken. If anybody has any inputs, they make their inputs during the consideration and bring amendments. We debate them and we move on with the bill. But that is all we are asking for, that this moves expeditiously. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
I thought this is a simple matter. Once my colleague, the first deputy, has spoken and Sam George has reacted. Did he mention your name? No. Chairman, you were said to be absent. Were you not absent?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wasn't absent yesterday, but at the time that the bill was asked to be prosecuted, Mr. Speaker, at that material moment, I wasn't here. To the best of my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, at all times material, I know that leadership would agree on the items would be taken on the floor of the House. Then the leadership would prompt the chairman that we would be doing this item, which is your schedule. You have to lead it. Mr. Speaker will recall that, Mr. Speaker, you had prompted me as a chairman on an issue that we need to iron out a crease. I had discussed it with the ranking member, and I discussed with some of the sponsors of this bill. that we need one meeting to iron out these creases, only for my colleagues on the other side to go out and make a press conference and warn to the extent that they are going to descend on us at our primaries. Mr. Speaker, these warnings, and so this morning I had to respond by saying that the moment we clothe this bill with political colors, it will not see the day of light. I had to warn that way. Mr. Speaker, I do not think that that is the way to go. As colleagues, we have agreed. I have told you that there's something for us to iron out. On my blind side, you go and make press conference, and I think that was most unfair. Thank you.
Honorable members, I can only say that even though democracy is in motion and we are now emphasizing a lot of openness, transparency, accountability, there are some matters that should not be communicated, but there are some things that people who need to know should know, not everybody. The rest that you stated, please don't let us take some of these issues as precedents. We know that when it comes to consideration stage of bills, not many members are interested in consideration stage, not only in Ghana, all over the world. That is the practice. So when you talk about quorum, then you are introducing something that could really have a challenge in this House. But it's good that the First Deputy Speaker has spoken. The only thing is that please don't take it as a decision to be insisting that there must always be quorum before we go on with consideration. Consideration stage is an informal stage of the processes of a bill. Informal. And so we are looking at those that are technically inclined to do those things and make sure that the right thing is captured in the bill. So please, there are many more things we have to do. That is why even we are now trying to formalize the winnowing stage. And so it will now be captured in the new standing orders, winnowing stage of bills. Whatever the situation, I know that nobody in this House is opposed to the bill, and that this bill will see the light of day before we rise. The people of Ghana are expecting us to pass the bill before we go on recess. Failure to do so will have some serious consequences on members as you want to advance in your political careers. Honorable member, never contest a speaker on some of these matters. But my ears are more than yours. Even though we have two each, I have more ears on the ground than you. And I've been in this game long before you were even born. So don't contest me on this matter. Please, these are key bills that I think we should consider before we go on recess. And the committees are urged to always present, committee members always present themselves when we get to each of the bills I've mentioned. These are important bills we have to pass. And we also have to resolve on the standing orders before we go on recess. Now that the committees are properly composed, please, members are encouraged to start the consideration of the estimates from the various centers. And the majority leader of the business committee will be coming out with the timetable for presentation of your reports. So next week is going to be a very busy week for us. You can see the order papers is completely replete with a lot of work, some of which are very key to the sustenance of democracy and development in the country. We have to finish all before we go on recess on the 22nd. 22nd. With this, I will proceed to adjourn a sitting of the House. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, if you may indulge me, shall we take item 8?
Oh. I thought
8H.
Item
on page 8 of page 8. Speaker, page 8.
There are more than 50.
Item 8H. That is laid. Speaker, on page 8, item 8H.
Report of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee on the Narcotic Control Commission, Cultivation and Management of Cannabis Regulations 2023.
Honorable members, the report of the Subsidiary Committee is presented accordingly and is for distribution to all members of Parliament. With this, honorable members, the House stands adjourned till tomorrow at 10 in the forenoon. The House is adjourned.